the Office of the National Rail Safety Regulator. And we'll suspend very briefly and just make sure they come over. They're here? Oh no, we won't suspend. They're here. Excellent.
Excellent.
2 questions.
It's going to be a fast little guy.
Sorry, Senator Rennick. Sorry, mate, I can't hear. Okay, thanks. All right, excellent.
And these are through from Tony Passon as the Assistant Shadow Minister.
Okay.
Can you please...
Oh, hang on. I haven't done my bit yet. Just hold your horses. Thank you. I now call representatives from the Office of the National Rail Safety Regulator. Good evening. Thank you for coming. Do you have an opening statement?
I don't, no.
Excellent. All right. Well, on that note, I now hand the call over to Senator McKenzie.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome. Can you please provide an update on the ONRSR cost recovery proposal? Where is that at the moment?
So this is the revised cost recovery proposal for how we'll do fees going forward.
Thank you.
Last December, the ministers asked me to come back at the end of this calendar year, so December 2024, giving me an opportunity to review the proposal that was put forward previously, but perhaps wasn't accepted as well as everybody would like.
That's true,
Yes.
I recall.
So what I'm doing is the questions now that I need to answer and bring forward are changed. Previously, the proposal was really just looking at a new formula, if you like, and recovering the amount of or the cost of regulation that was predetermined by an agreement with ministers back in 2012 and then updated in 2016 to take in major projects. So what I'm doing now is actually looking at coming back with what is the efficient cost of regulation. So how do we work that out? How do I demonstrate that ONRSR is an efficient and effective regulator, so how we deliver that cost of regulation, and then coming back with a new formula to recover that. And what they've asked me to do is come back with a formula that is easier to understand.
And demonstrates their value for money.
Demonstrates the value.
Yeah.
And so I suppose for those operators who get their fees, they get a sense of, oh, I understand where that has come from and what it's paying. So that's what I'm going to be doing by the end of the year.
So what will be the timeline for that rollout then? So you're doing that piece of work?
Yeah, well, it'll go to ministers in December, and so ministers will presumably agree on that or not in December.
It goes to an officials meeting before.
Oh, yes, the Infrastructure and Transport Ministers meeting, which is usually June and December.
Okay. Thank you so much. No further questions from me.
Excellent. Thank you. Senator Rennick, you've got a few questions?
Yes. Last time I asked, I think it was a few guys that were on video conference, but I asked about, I thought there was going to be a report handed down about better lighting for trains. I'm not sure if you know anything about that at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've commissioned 2 separate pieces of research with the Monash Institute of Rail Technology. The first report was handed down in March 2023. The second report we received last month. The first report was looking at whether or not beacon light, so a flashing light on the front of a loco, would help in terms of train illumination. And it also looked at whether or not if you had, instead of the halogen headlight, if you had an LED headlight, would that make a difference?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the outcomes of that report?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so the outcomes of that report were that under certain circumstances, the flashing light and also the LED and halogen light didn't make any difference in terms of visibility of the train, but the flashing light did under certain circumstances. So it made a difference at night, and it made a difference where there were obtuse angles for level crossings and the road, and it also made a difference if the person in the car or the truck was close to the level crossing. But those conditions were not replicated during the day. So it didn't demonstrate that there was a significant benefit during the day. So the work found a few other recommendations which have since been applied to the Australian standard, so 7531, and that standard has been upgraded. We then commissioned a second report. The second report was looking at two other things. So it was looking at whether or not if you put a flashing LED on the front of the train and then of the loco and then lights down the side of the loco, would that make a difference to train visibility? That research is the report we got last month, and it's just being finalised. And we will publish that as well. The short story is, or the upshot of the research is that, again, it didn't really show any significant benefit during daylight, so when there's clear conditions, but it did show benefit at night and where those angles are with level crossings. I think the challenge that we face in terms of whether or not you mandate lights or not is that the vast majority of level crossing incidents, so 74%, occur during the day of collisions, and where there are near hits, 81% of those occur during the day.
Right.
So what we need to focus on, I think, coming out of this latest research is more what can we do during the day to try and make that train more visible.
Thank you. So does that mean, like, are you going to recommend flashing lights, though, for night time?
We will suggest that people consider it, but it's not going to be mandated. I think there's doubt about whether or not the benefits and the costs would really be worth it.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Chair.
No worries. That's a good question there, Senator Rennick. Thank you very much. On that note, thank you very much for appearing, albeit brief. Feel free to enjoy the evening.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to...
Are you going to consult with industry before you present to the ministers?
That's a very good question. I'm considering how I might do that because I need to have the industry understand where we're heading.
You really do?
But I've just got such a short time frame to get
December.
the work done. Yeah, I know. It sounds like a long time frame for you, but there's a lot that I need to do. But what I'm going to try and do is
because you don't want them to.
I don't want it to be a
agitated again,
surprise.
and it'll just
Absolutely.
be pushed off. So
Yeah.
can I encourage you
yes,
to engage?
Yes.
And I hope it'll go better the next time.
I certainly will be engaging. I'm just trying to work out the best way of doing that and making sure we don't just engage with the big end, that there are a range of different sized operators. So it's more about how do you access the others.
Reach out.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Just give her a call, 0413.
No.
Okay, on that note,
listen
thank
to
you very
senators.
much.
Thank you.
We're now going to